Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Xah Talk Show. Today is 2020, January 10th, Friday, 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 20 minutes in the afternoon, San Francisco time. And today's main topic is keyboards. Anything about keyboards or input systems. And if you have any questions about keyboards, this is the right time to ask me. Okay, anything about keyboards, do-it-yourself keyboards, which keyboard is the best keyboard, which one is the cheapest to buy, which one is the most ergonomic, which is your favorite, what about flat keyboards, which one is the best, which one do you think, which one do I think, which one does she think. Good morning, Emily, and good morning, Justine. And keyboard design stuff, keycaps, key switch systems, and keyboard firmware, their interfaces, the varieties of interfaces, what are the different ways, keyboard labeling technology. You see, everything about keyboard and typing related stuff, such as, for example, the finger length and survey and all that stuff. So that's the main topic for today. But I'm going to go random a little bit. I'm going to go random and show you a sundry of fantastic things in the world we live in, the fantastic things, and especially computing, programming stuff. So Justin Scoffey, mathematician in Canada, if you want to buy a keyboard, you can go to my keyboard blog, and you can read my blogs. So there are like hundreds of keyboards and mouse and different stuff and typing stuff you can buy. And for example, let's say if you want to buy this mouse, then you just click on my Amazon link. Now this link goes to the USA Amazon, but I know you have Amazon in Canada, so I need to Amazon to connect my account so I get money. But anyway, so if you find a keyboard you like, you can buy it. Um, and which one keyboard to get depends on what you want, depends on you. So in the case of you, you are kind of sitting in a wheelchair, right? So I'm not sure what's your need for keyboard. If you can tell me, maybe I can give you some suggestions. So great Emily is here, and great Kathy is here. Good morning, guys. Have you guys went to the Emacs meetup yet? Okay, so we have many interesting things going on. So let me show you this one. Okay, let's digress. This is Conway's game of life on a torus, actually on a knot. The knot, so one of the interesting things with this game of life on a trifoil knot is that I wonder about whether it's topologically equivalent to a torus or not. Because you have to think about, because there's a twisting issue. So I don't know if this is completely equivalent to the game of life on a trifoil knot versus on a torus. I'm not sure. I have to, this is a question you have to think about. Now, do you guys know what I'm talking about? Like, you know what I'm saying? Emily, do you know? Do you know what I'm saying? Like whether the game of life is the topologically equivalent on a torus versus trifoil knot or not. So one way to think about that is to trace, basically we want to, we don't want So you know what I'm talking about. So are they equivalent? Do you think they are equivalent? You don't want, there's an issue of twisting. So, on a torus, there's no twisting. So a twisting would be, for example, if you have a torus and you cut it, then you twist it, 360 degrees, then you reconnect. So that would have a twisting. So in mathematicians' terms, you call it orientation. So there's whether there's a difference in orientation. Okay, now I got it. Now thinking about that, now I know the answer. So the answer I'm pretty sure is that it's independent. You know, whether you want to twist or not is independent of whether the thing is on a torus or a trifoil or not. Because if you want to twist, you just twist it. If you don't want to twist, you just don't twist it. So it's a separate question. So Emily says, certainly without twisting, it is the same as torus. Okay, yeah, so I got confused for a moment. But okay, but however, we still have the question. That is, the question is on this particular rendering, rendering, do they have a twist or not? And we can find out by just tracing the lines to see if they come back to we trace the lines around the torus, and when we come back here to see if they connect right here or connect somewhere else. I don't know if that implementation on screen. Yeah, so you are right. So this, and okay, so now we know the answer to that question about the twisting or not. Now the next question interesting would be, what is the effect of having a twist on the game of life? Now, do you guys know the game of life? Emily, have you played it? The game of life. This is fantastic. During the 1990s, I spent basically a few years playing this game. And there's a okay. So we are digressing, and we're gonna talk about this, and this is gonna be 1 hour. The game of life, and in general, the science of cellular automata, which is a fantastic subject. The science of cellular automata. And so, do you know about? Have you played it? Have you actually played it? The game of life, Emily and Kathy and Justine. Have you? So, by the way, this Cliff Pickover, he is a mathematician. I don't like the guy. Okay, I don't like a lot of things. I don't like this Cliff Pickover guy. I mean, he's a good guy, okay, but he wrote tons of books on mathematics that belongs to the category of math popularization, okay. So if you go to Amazon, for example, Cliff Pickover. So Emily has played it a lot. Fantastic. So, Cliff Pickover. What a strange name, Cliff Pickover. Let's see if I'm doing okay with my video. Okay, so I need to put the Jedi hood on, so now I look better. um, let's see, what are these? Jesus, sex, drugs, Einstein, and elves. What the fuck? Ah, Jesus, this guy. That's why I despise this guy. Fuck. This Cliff Pickover. Fuck. This mundane. This low life guy. You see, why is that? Because math to me is the God's creation. Okay, in white man's words, it's a God of creation. It's etched in stone. Let me show you. Okay, it's not to be trifled with. But this guy, Cliff Pickover, write a ton of these math popularization books with this egregious this how do you say, what's the word, egregious, not egregious, this pop, this, oh my god, I forgot the words. This, let's look at the cover. You see, it says sex, drugs, Einstein and elves, sushi, psychedelics, parallel universe, and the quest for transcendence. What the fuck? He's, trifling mathematics, this guy. So I don't like his stuff at all. Clifford Pickover. Okay, so that's his name. And he's on Twitter, and every day he's on Twitter. He's posting drama every day, mathematical drama. This oh, the word just came to me. These crass, how shall you say, the crass, appeal to your senses. You see, this most idiotic, this math illustration, this fractal, this type is the most idiotic thing. He loves to do it, and this is actually what the population loves, the masses. They love it for this kind of what's the word? I'm trying to find a word. This crap. You see this. You see, mathematics to me is not just it's written in etched in stone. It's beautiful. It's austere and cold. But this Clifford Pickover guy, he makes it like he prostitute mathematics to become this crap thing. That's what he's doing, Clifford Pickover. And by the way, he has treated one of my website's work 2 years ago or a year ago, 2 years ago. He has treated one of my plane curves work. Yeah, okay, but I don't like, I don't like his the way he do things, his style and stuff. And what is this new book? He's publishing tons of books. What is this? Le livre de la mort et de el ou de la something. Okay, resurrection quantique. Jesus. He's trying to peddle. This guy is what he's doing is peddling mathematics, like peddle it. This lurid is this. It's that's the word I'm trying to. That's the word I'm looking for. Lurid and sensational. That's what he's doing. Like the naked pictures of girls in the UK. United Kingdom, they have this newspaper that's publishing focus on sensational stuff. What is the name? Page 6. Page 6. Am I correct, Emily and Kathy? Like United Kingdom, I read stuff on Wikipedia, so they have this newspaper. They have a page 6. Publishing sensational stuff, like what movie star in what bikini, and online they have this male female thing. God, that lurid sensational thing. And look at this Clifford Pickover guy. This is abusing mathematics. This guy abused mathematics. Offensive. This is offensive to my eyes. And now look, spirograph. This is very popular spirograph thing. Okay, we are digressing a lot. Comments, guys. What do you guys think? What do you guys say? Check status live. Okay, good. So Clifford Pickover, he's doing this lurid mathematic thing, lurid sensationalism. You know, then this guy, is Jesus. Then every nerd like to post about this guy. Every nerd, like they don't know nothing about history. They don't know nothing about nothing. Then every nerd every day is like Nicholas Tesla, this or that, Nicholas Tesla with this, this lighting light, this electric stuff. Jesus. So I despise these things, lurid, sensationalism, and the best example, the epitome of this style, of this crassness, is by this Cliff Pickover guy. And you can see, in his title, "Sex, Drugs, and Einstein and Elves." What the fuck? He's abusing mathematics. And you look at his books. He's been publishing books since 1990s. Because back then when I was studying mathematics, that's how you attract people. Not the right way though. So I know this guy. One of his earliest book is Chaos. Let me show you. He published. He write tons of garbage. So he has like how many books? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 7, 8, 9, 10, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Oh, he also published, okay, History of Mathematics. This is not by him. This is a real math book. I have that book. I've showed a few times. This now over here, that's real math, not this one, not this one. His math. You see this book, A History of Mathematics, by this mathematician, historian Carl B. Boyle. This is a good book. Then you go over here to Clifford. Then you go over to the Clifford Pickover guy. Then you see his crap. The medical book. What the fuck is this? The medical book. This one, mathematics devotional. Devotional. Now it's getting into the occult, that like medicine and stuff. The mathematics devotional. So anyway, one of his earliest book is Chaos. That is when chaos theory is becoming very popular. This guy publishes tons of books, 30 books, 40 books, and with this most offensive cover. Okay, can you guys, do you see what I'm saying? Do you get a sense my sensibilities? Does my sensibilities make any sense to you guys? My sensibilities and okay, that's about this guy. So let's actually find his earliest book, Chaos. Okay, actually there's more pages. Is that right? So Kathy says, "Gosh, I don't know. Getting away from luring gossip helps retain my sanity." Getting away from luring gossip helps retain my sanity. Okay, if you are pissed, why are you still browsing his website? Well, I'm explaining my point of view. I have to do it properly. So one of his book, that's Chaos, which is very popular, starting in 1990s. Look, Jesus, this book, Chaos in Wonderland. Now he wants to drag in Wonderland, Chaos in Wonderland. Okay, so my recommendation is don't buy this guy's book. Okay, if you want to study math, there are a lot great books that is also entertaining, appealing, and beautiful, but they are real mathematics, not this guy. Okay, not this Clifford Pickover, and today he's on Twitter posting all this garbage every day, like few times every few hours. And that usually sells, just like naked girls, with bikinis. So people retweet him. He's this type of guy. Anyway, so that's him. Clifford Pickover. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so let me copy things to my Emacs so we have a record of what we talked about. Digressions. Today's main topic is supposed to be keyboards. And actually, I have a lot to do. Okay, so actually, let's get my Amazon link so I can make some money. Oh, there is no JavaScript. I need to turn on JavaScript. Oh, I'm not following that guy. No, I'm not following that guy. But this guy, Clifford Pickover, or whoever does these sensational things, they are usually retweeted by your friends. For example, I'm into math and computer and Linux, right? So but I don't like this Clifford Pickover. But because he's doing sensational stuff, so other my followers or some people I follow, mathematicians, they will sometimes retweet his stuff. So there's nothing I can do. This so Twitter is encouraging. Twitter loves it because more traffic the better for them. So that's why it's very nasty, annoying. Condition we are in. There's nothing you can do. So that's this guy Clifford. Let me spell it correctly. So we have a lot of topics to talk about cellular automata, game of life. Actually, I never talked about game of life properly. So we can do that, or we can talk about cellular automata in some little technical detail. Although I did talk about that a few times, cellular automata. So let me show you this book again. I read twice at least. A New Kind of Science. So this book by Stephen Wolfram, and I have actually annotated the book's content. A New Kind of Science. That's cellular automata. Very interesting stuff. Okay, so what else we gonna talk about? So let's close that. Fonts. Oh my God, fonts. The nerds' interest fonts. So we can talk about fonts. Close the Clifford Pickover. So you see, so this mathematician, this is a great guy, Dave Richardson. Okay, he's a mathematician, and you see, he's retweeting the Clifford Pickover stuff. I am following this guy, Dave Richardson, and he has also written a book, The Tales of Impossibility, which is about trisecting the angle and square the circle and doubling the cube. So do you guys know these problems? These are classic antique Greek problems, very famous problems that have changed the course of mathematics in a significant way. It's one giant chapter of mathematics. Do you guys know about that? So he wrote this book, this Dave Richardson. let me just post it. Okay, Dave Richardson. Okay, so I'm going random. So if you guys have a like me to talk about specific things, then we do that. Otherwise, I'm kind of right, just talking about whatever I'm seeing. Vulcan, good morning, Vulcan. So we are going random about mathematics. Uh, so Dave Richardson. So let's go to Amazon again. Let's go to Amazon again. Let's look at his book. Okay, so he published this book, Tales of Impossibility, the 2,000-year quest to solve the mathematical problems of antiquity. So back in Greek times, 2,000 years ago, there are three problems in math everyone trying to solve, and these problems turns out to be impossible. But we do not know it's impossible. All the mathematicians, they all try to solve it, but they do not know actually it's impossible. We started to know it's impossible around, I think, year 1500. So the three famous problems are, I can talk about this for hours. So because there are a lot to say, and actually I have personal experience. So this is a verdant subject, because there are a lot of crackpots or people who are trying to solve these problems, and they think they have a solution. Like in the Department of Mathematics, if you are a professor, you will receive mails, these days emails or postal mails from people who, they think they solved the problem and they send you their proof. So you have to sieve through this garbage. So there are tons of these, people who think they solved these 2,000 years old problems. And actually I have encountered one of such guy. One day, this is around 2003 or so. And typically these are old retired guys. Typically they are engineers or programmers, but they are not mathematicians. You see, that's the thing. When you know math, you know real math, you know what is going on. But if you are engineer or programmers, like a lot of programmers, they don't know math, but they think they kind of they know. So these people, typically retired engineers, accomplished. Some of them are accomplished. So these engineers or programmers, so they saw this problem about, they heard about this problem, Asian problem about trisecting the angle or squaring the circle or doubling the cube. I'll explain what they are, if you guys don't know what they are already. So they think they have the solution. They work hard. They trying to they work hard. So they think they solved this 2,000 years old problem. So they try to publish it or send, and some of them actually they have books published by them, which is false. And they try to send this to mathematicians. But if you are a mathematician, real mathematician or professor, it's already proven impossible like 300 years ago. But that doesn't stop these crackpots, because these crackpots, it doesn't stop them for reasons hard to explain. Just like religion, you can't stop people from believing a religion. You can't stop them. Doesn't matter how logical you try to explain, it doesn't stop them. So personally, I encountered a guy whose name I shall not mention, but I have some blogs. So he he contacted me. He is trying to tell me, he have a solution. I mean, also, when you look into these people, these so-called crackpots, they are not actually crackpots. They are sincere. I mean, they are truly sincere. They are old, typically 60 years old or 70, but they are truly sincere. They truly believe that they solved, a 2,000 years old problem. So I met this guy. He sent me, first by email. Then he started to send me his proofs. He knew me because I have published math stuff on the website. He started to send me proofs, and he has also apparently, as I found out later, with contact with other mathematicians. So I have actually a lot of story to tell you about this um, problem. So I need to write them down actually, because otherwise I forgot what I want to say. So show my blog about this guy who tried to trisect the angle. Okay, so I want to show my blog about that, and I want to show David Richardson's book on Amazon. Okay, so that's one thing, and I also want to show the other book uh, by David Wood something about trisection problem. Okay, so there is this guy, a mathematician I've corresponded with. He has published a book just like Dave Richardson on this trisection problem. And Underwood. Okay, so his name is Underwood. I think this guy is Dudley Underwood. Dudly. I might spell it wrong. So Dudley Underwood has published a book on trisection, and in his book, he collects all the crackpots who published their proof, their solution to solve these three Asian problems. So I have that book. I don't know if I can find it. Maybe it's in my bookshelf. I haven't seen it for a while. I don't remember. But okay, but one thing at a time. So let's go to Dave Richardson's book on Amazon. So guys, what do you think? Say something. Okay, let me know how am I doing. And opinions, questions, stuff. So what's the book's name? So let's do one thing at a time. Tales of Impossibility. Okay. Tales of Impossibility. What's going on? There it is. Okay. David S. Richardson, this mathematician, on Twitter, we are sort of acquaintances a little bit. Okay, so that is his book. So you guys go buy this book. I haven't read it. I didn't even know he published. Well, I know since last year. So this is his new book. David Richardson. So Tales of Impossibility. So let's see what this book. What is he doing with this book? What this book is about. Tales of Impossibility recounts the intriguing story of the so-called problems of antiquity, four of the most famous studied questions in the history of mathematics. First posed by the ancient Greeks, these compass and straight edge problems, squaring the circle, trisecting an angle, doubling the cube, and inscribing regular polygon in a circle, have served as ever-present muses for mathematicians for more than 2 millennia. David Richardson follows the trail of these problems to show that ultimately their proofs demonstrating the impossibility of solving them using only a compass and straight edge depended upon and resulted in the growth of mathematics. Okay, so in this book, he's talking about the history of these problems and how this history drove mathematics. Okay, so like I mentioned before, these three problems, most famous of them are three of them. These three problems are huge chapter in mathematics. So in fact, they are a fuel to tremendous, many branches of mathematics. For example, they propelled algebra, they propelled geometry, they propelled non-Euclidean geometry, and they are fundamental. They are a huge chapter. So this book, according to the blurb, it seems like it's going to talk about the history of these problems and their relation to the how they drove math development. So you go by this book. Now I'm going to show you a few other books I've read. The other books I've read. There are quite a few books on this, but there is another one I read. Let me show you. Okay, it's not here. So you guys still here? Vulcan, say something. I need to check. So let me check my status. 6 people watching. Am I still alive? Yes. Yes. Okay, so tales of impossibility. So let's xah-fly trisection Underwood. So here is another book that talks about this problem. Okay, so actually, where did we go? Wait. Plane curve books. And let me show you some of my math pages. Plane curves, a fascinating subject. So here is my reference. This is my collection of references related to plane curves. And one of this book I'm talking about, the trisectors by Underwood Dudley. Underwood Dudley is a mathematician at what university I forgot. But his book is about. This is published in 1994. This book is about, he collects all the people who tried to solve this problem, who tried, these crackpots who thought they solved the problem. So this is and Underwood Dudley. So this is easy to read. Very very interesting book, amusing. You can read it. You don't require, you don't have to have a degree. In the same way, this Tales of Impossibility book, you can also read. I don't think you need a degree. So they are like real math popularization books. Meanwhile, they are real mathematics, not like the Clifford Pickover book. So actually, let me tell you. Okay, so this book. Okay, so that's about this book. Now let's go back here. So okay, and now let's go to shell. Let's go to do some Emacs. Let's xah interactive abbrev and sync to my server, and then I copy the file path, and that is today's link, so you guys can go there and click stuff. Okay, so then I'm going to tell you about, so in this book, Underwood Dudley, so it's a collection of stories of these crackpot trisectors who try to solve the problem. So he collect these accounts. So he tells us what they do. He actually go and visit, interview each one of these people. In real life, he interview them. He get their he let them talk about why they think they solved the problem, what's the motivation, what's their background, their family background, what's their profession. He tells us about these people who think they solved the problem. And so once I read this book, and I found one of the chapter, I forgot how many chapters are there, how many sections, but one of the chapter is talking about this guy. I know this guy who contacted me to, he want me to help him to publish his solution to the trisector problem. So this is around 2004, 2005. So this guy, 60 years old engineer, okay, a white guy, he actually come and eventually, starting with email. So he actually come to meet me. He meet me in a coffee shop, and he pays everything. Very nice guy. Very nice gentleman. So he wants to tell me he solved this problem, and but I know this is already proven impossible. So he has printouts, all his proofs, and he has also printouts of my websites. So he's a very sincere and honest gentleman. So he's telling me, he print out all my, some of my websites on trisection. For example, let me show you this website. So I have this website. My website is very popular back then, since 1997. So he's very kind in email, saying that I admire your work and stuff, and he's sincere about it, not just bullshit. But he also want me to help him to publish his proofs. So I'm in a situation, I'm trying to say, this is already proven impossible. You are just doing what your work is actually just bullshit. But so you have this situation. It's hard to say that, but I do try. So he showed me, he has his proofs. I can point out. Okay, here is where you went wrong. You made a wrong assumption and things like that. But it's just impossible. It's just impossible in so many. It's hard to explain. It's just impossible. It's kind of like when you are trying to tell some God believers that God doesn't exist. It just doesn't work. So I end up helping him to draw and organize his proofs, and he actually paid me for it. He paid me hourly fee, something like $20 or $30 an hour. So so that's about that. So we met about 3 times, over like 2 years period, and each time he treat me to, he paid for the lunch and all that. So that's about that. My story of this one of the trisectors. So okay, no comments. I guess that's boring. So let's switch topic then. 6 people watching. So plane curve books, trisectors. Okay, close that and post it here. Okay, I already posted. um, close that, close that, angle trisection. Let me. So what is the problem? You can actually. So today you can read it on Wikipedia. It'll tell them in detail. The problem is you are given an angle on a piece of paper. So you are given an angle like 3 points. Then you want to draw a line that is 1/3 of the angle. So in essence, you want to find a point and draw a line so that this angle is 1/3 of the given angle. So that is the problem, the general problem. Now you might think, so that's so easy. What's the problem? You just use a protractor. Well, protractor is not allowed. What is allowed is that you have to use a straight edge, like like a ruler, but without marking on it. So like a ruler, you call that straight edge. So you can connect any 2 points you want. If you have 2 points, you can connect it by a line, and you can also have a compass that is given a point and another point. Given 2 points, you can draw a circle centered on one of a point. So these two things are the only things you are allowed to do. So using these two tools, your task is to trisect the angle. So that is the problem, trisecting the angle. And this is the most popular among these three problems. This is one of the problem. Okay, there are two other. The other one is doubling the cube. Okay, let me click on that and square the circle. But anyway, once you know the trisection, angle trisection, you kind of get the flavor what it's about. So you can actually just try it. You go ahead and try it. It's very fun. This is a very tempting problem, very appealing, appealing to laymen. Without any math training, because any person can understand the problem. Any child can understand the problem, and you can immediately start to work on it. Just draw lines, draw circles. Your goal is trying to find trisect the angle. And the other problem is doubling the cube. That is, you have a cube. A cube has certain volumes, right? You take the length of the side and you multiply the length by itself 3 times. What you get is the volume of the cube. Your problem is to create a new length such that the new cube's volume is double than the original. So essentially, the problem is given a length, like a number. You want to find another number such that that number cubed is equals to the original number cubed. And the only tool allowed for this is same thing with the compass and straight edge. Same thing with trisecting the angle. So that's a doubling the cube problem. And the last problem is square the circle. Okay, so I'm not going to go into it. You can read it on Wikipedia. So that's about these problems. Good morning, Bart. Now let's talk about something else. Okay, let's talk about something else. Close Twitter. Okay, some problem with ergoemacs mod. He cannot find a cheat sheet. Bart, so what's up, Bart? So I'm going to start to go random topics. So here is a cheat sheet. What do you mean he cannot find it? Anyway. So no comments, no comments. Then I'm going to start to do some Emacs stuff. Maybe. Well, today is supposed to be focused on keyboard. So anything about keyboard, spot, and guys, let me close the window because the Jesus. Let me show you. Okay. Because my neighbors, they are moaning the the lawn. They are blowing. You cannot see, but happens every Friday or something. Very loud, super annoying. Okay, am I still good? How long have I been talking? I'm supposed to talk about keyboards today, so Boss says keyboard switch. Hi Yov. Oh, now we got people. Does xah-fly-keys work with Spacemacs? There are people doing that, but I have personally never tried. There are actually, if you go to Spacemacs, there is a GitHub issue that suggests them to provide an option of using xah-fly-keys as part of the Spacemacs. But I didn't have time to look into, so it's that issue's been there for like 3 years now. But I think yes, you can use xah-fly-keys with Spacemacs. I'm pretty sure you can. Yeah, you. I never tried it, so I don't know what to tell you, because it's a technical issue. I have to actually try Spacemacs, then try to install xah-fly-keys, turn off the evil mod, because Spacemacs by default they use evil mod, so you have to turn off that. I know people. I know people who are using Spacemacs with xah-fly-keys, but I've never done it, so I don't know. I've never used Spacemacs, so I cannot tell you how to what to do to get them to work. I suppose it's pretty simple. You just install Spacemacs. Let me show you. Okay, Spacemacs. If you guys don't know, so Spacemacs came about 5 years ago. Maybe now it's 6 years ago or something. Spacemacs is a Emacs distribution, meaning it's GNU Emacs bundled with a bunch of packages. So in other words, it's a whole thing set up for you. So you don't have to dealing with the config files and stuff. You just download the whole thing. Everything just works. Now, this is very convenient, and it's also very popular. Usually this kind of distribution, they become very popular because anyone, you don't have to know much about Emacs config or the details about learning Emacs. You just download this, you can use it, out of the box. Or the fancy, UI or enhanced packages and stuff, that's all bundled. So you don't have to go to the web, ask people what's the best one for Python, what's the best one for Golang, how what's the best, then how to configure it, very complex. You're gonna spend hours. So that's Spacemacs. They came around six years ago. You call it Emacs distribution. Okay, so everything package is bundled by this guy. I know this guy a little bit. So he, I know this guy, okay, Benner, okay, this tiny Jesus, I know this guy, okay, Spacemacs, okay, so his name is Sylvan Benner, okay, Sylvan Benner. let's copy his website here. Okay, Spacemacs. By okay. So that's Spacemacs. And by the way, I also did a Emacs distro called ergoemacs. That is why my domain name you can see is ergoemacs.org. It's ergoemacs because from about 2008 to 2012, something like that, for 5 years, I have a Ergo Emacs distribution called ergoemacs, where just like Spacemacs, you just download it, everything is bundled. I have selected, and configured the best packages for Python, for PHP, JavaScript, everything you need. So I stopped doing that. So today there is no ergoemacs distro, no more. And the main thing about ergoemacs distro is that you have the ergoemacs key binding system, which is still available. So if you go to my website, you go to Emacs homepage, and you can see the ergoemacs. So this, let me turn on. So right now it's maintained by this guy, by this guy. What's his name? I forgot now. Matthew Fiedler. He took over about 7 years ago, around 2012 or so. Wait, this doesn't look good. What's going on? So you need JavaScript. Okay, now that's how it's supposed to look. So ergoemacs mod. So this package is a efficient key binding for Emacs, and I began around 2007 also. So this is the major dish in ergoemacs distribution. So back then I have this package. This is the main thing. Then I have the ergoemacs distro, where the key binding is using ergoemacs mod, plus you have packages for everything else bundled. But the ergoemacs distro is no longer available. It is because when you do that, everyone is just asking you questions. You get paid. There's no pay. Every day is 4 hours. Something you work on it. that's what I did for 5 years. Open source. So anyway, so ergoemacs mod is still available, and in fact, right now it's part of GNU Emacs. You have to sign papers to assign the copyright, to give the copyright to GNU, to Richard Stallman, Free Software Foundation. So now this is actually ergoemacs is now part of the GNU Emacs. So it's also in the ALPA, GNU Emacs Free Software Foundation's repository called ALPA. But however, the version there is kind of dilapidated. If you want ergoemacs mod, you want to use the version on Malpa. Malpa is not part of Emacs. But anyway, ergoemacs since around 2013, 2012 is now led by Matt Fiedler, a great guy. I have not met him, but so in fact, he has made major changes. He has basically rewrote the engine. So that's ergoemacs. The change of hand happened because I started to work on xah-fly-keys, which is modal. And also because for reasons, it's not like one day I decided, I don't want ergoemacs mod anymore. It's not like that. Rather, because I was using another keyboard and I got kinesis, and I still have hand pain, so I started to work on modal, like Vim, like Evo mod modal. And because modal, the way of the modal is actually more efficient. it's just more efficient. You'll save like 10, 10 to 20% keystrokes. So I started to work on then that eventually becomes xah-fly-keys. Before it was like ergoemacs VI mod. So I was thinking, it's part of the ergoemacs mod, but you have the VI mod, so you can go modal. But eventually, the Matt Fiedler, he took over ergoemacs mod, and then I just focused on xah-fly-keys. I renamed it xah-fly-keys. So we went we went two separate ways, just like majority of open source project. So my relation, so ergoemacs mod, it's not modal, okay? Though at one time he also started to experiment with modal, but that became a bit rot. So the modal feature in ergoemacs mod is not there. It's not robust, something like that. So anyway, ergoemacs mode is not modal. It's based on using your thumb on the old key. It's great, but so if you don't like modal, I can recommend ergoemacs mod. But however, the philosophy kind of differed. So the Matt Fiedler, I want things to be extremely simple, including the code. I don't want complexities in code. I want anyone who don't know anything about Emacs, who don't know anything about the jargons of Emacs, such as key binding, the buffers, then the meta key. I don't want none of that. I want people back then originally, people who don't know nothing about Emacs. They just know Microsoft Notepad. Okay, they can download ergoemacs mod and use it right away. It'll work. Paste is Control V. Copy is Control C and all that. Things like that. It'll just work. So that's what I want. That's kind of my style, if you will. My philosophy, my packages, my projects. That's the way I want to go. But so Matt took over. He's a friend, of course. So we in the beginning few years, beginning five, we worked together for like 5 years. We worked together, but eventually I focused on xah-fly-keys, and also he made changes so that the code becomes more and more complex. So today the code in ergoemacs is extremely complex. Some people use your code bloated. Why is that? Because there's a good reason. The ergoemacs mod, because it tries to, so if you install ergoemacs, the goal by the Matt is that it works in every major mod. It just works. Okay, that's his goal. But it's not simple. Okay, so you have, it's also starts slow. It starts slow because it actually has to, the way ergoemacs works right now, as far as I understand, is that it actually reads every other major mod and minor mods keys you have installed in Emacs and remap them. So that's a giant, non-trivial, complex task, and he's doing that. That's to his credit. He rewrote the entire engine so that the final goal is that when you have ergoemacs on, it just works in any. Doesn't matter what other major mod or minor mod you have. Because in order to make this work, it's not trivial at all. It's very complex because Emacs does not have a way to provide key binding set priority. It's very complex. So the way it works is actually it reads all your other major mods and minor mods, their keys, then try to remap them. So like you have a wrapper or something like that. So so that's what he is trying to do, and to some degree, I it's successful. But the price you have to pay is that the code becomes 10,000 lines, 20,000 lines. It's impossible to understand anymore, because then you have macros, the macros, and it's very big code, and the startup time is also very slow. So that's the price you have to pay. And that's the way he goes. So he that so I just so he just took over. I don't want that though. That's not what I want. I want just to be simple. Now, the problem with being simple and fast code is that if you have some other mods, for example, Magic. That Magic is a big example, because Magic has lots of its own keys. So the problem with simple code is that when you have some other mods, minor mod or major mod, such as Magic, that will override some of your keys. So some keys will start to not work. That is a problem. There is no solution to fix everything perfectly. You either go with complex code, or you have simple code that some keys doesn't work if you have some mods. That's just the situation. So in xah-fly-keys, the code is extremely simple. That's the way I want. Right now it's like 10,000 lines. For example, let's see. Let's go to xah-fly-keys, and so 4,000 lines. But however, the code is extremely simple. Anyone can understand it, and you can modify it to the way you like. On the other hand, for ergoemacs mod, you cannot modify it the way you want. But actually, they provide ergoemacs mod, the code by Matt Fiedler. He actually provide a system where you can override keys. So, for example, in xah-fly-keys, if you want to override something you don't like, you just dive into the code. You dive into the source code. You just create a copy of it, modify it right away. You can understand the code. You know where to look for. You can just create your own version. On the other hand, you cannot do that with ergoemacs mod. But however, the ergoemacs mod provides kind of a system where you follow the instruction. It's like Spacemac. It creates a separate layer where in this layer you can add code to modify keys, override keys, things like that. So that's the way that goes. So Spacemac is kind of similar. They created a system like a layer on top of Emacs. So you no longer do config directly to Emacs. Rather, you write config that's for Spacemacs. Then Spacemacs translate those code to Emacs. So I don't like that. Okay, so that's about Spacemacs. So what's your question? Keyboard switch. Oh, okay. Spacemacs. It's not Richard Stallman's Free Software Foundation. Yeah, well, he's been kicked out. So another question, Eric Carson, have you looked at Terry Davis and his Temple OS? That is a frequently asked question, because every nerd comes to my live show always asks me that. Why? I know why. Because Terry Davis and his Temple OS, Terry Davis is well known because he's a nut job. He's a fringe of society because he's got this severe psychological problem, this schizophrenia, which is it's not just a personality disorder, but rather it's a physical mental illness. Because you see illusions. You hear and see things that's not there. You see a different reality. So he's got that problem, and he sadly he is dead. He's run over by a train, and 2 or 3 years ago. We don't know it's a suicide or not. So he's very kind of popular among online among us, and that's kind of a problem, and so people kind of associate me with him too because I'm also kind of a fringe, with the strange ideas. But what I want to say is that I think it's a sad situation. He becomes famous not because people actually want to help him. Some people can help him, but half of the reason he's famous, people talk about him all the time, is because he's drama. He's a showcase. He's like a train wreck. You go, when there's a train wreck, you go and watch it. Oh, what happened? Oh, dramatic. Oh, the train killed people. Look, train wreck. So people talk about him all the time, like on the 4chan, on the Chan, on Hacker News. Some people among these spectators, like there are 10% who actually do good to him, reach out or donate him money, things like that, do good for him. The rest 10% are just spectators, and spread, his, this Terry Davis guy. So why does this happen? So I mean, you cannot blame these people, these spectators, like everyone. You go when there's an accident, the car runs someone down, you go watch it, and you tell people that's normal humanity, and this is with us for for thousands of years. But there's one thing I want to say is that the modern society, you know, unlike 100 years ago, when there's a drama, they don't spread like the internet. There's no internet. So when there's a drama, you spread by visually, like you actually see a car accident, then you tell your friends, you tell your neighbors. So there's actually in real life, that is, when there's a drama, it happens in real life, or some murder happens, murder or rape, things like that. That's in real life. So the drama kind of spread more slowly, but still it's in real life. But now, since the internet, and especially because of these Facebook and Twitter, these commercial, scumbags, you begin to spread drama just for the drama. Like far removed from any real life or serious considerations. You just spread, it's just like, oh, Terry Davis, oh, look, this crazy guy. Oh God, this, you post it, it just spreads and spreads. So that made the problem kind of worse. That made the problem worse. So that's what I have to say about Terry Davis and Temple OS. He's a sort of genius in some way. I've seen Temple OS, so it takes great mind to create that. It's not trivial. Not he's a fairly above average programmer. That's all I say. That's all I can say. So that's about that. So Spacemac is model 2. You only have single key command. Like, yeah, that's Space mode is Spacemac is evil mod. It's using evil mod key binding. So looks like you guys don't know the things. Okay, so you might. So let me tell you about xah-fly-keys. Xah-fly-keys is modal. So why don't I just use evil mod? Because evil mod or Vim, their key binding is historical. It's not efficient. Okay, it's not from the ground up efficient. So xah-fly-keys is much more efficient. That's what I claim. Yeah, I can actually tell you it's actually a fact. xah-fly-keys is much more efficient than Vim or evil mod, because every key binding, every key choice, what command you put to what key is based on statistics. So that's xah-fly-keys. Good morning, Reaper. So I'm going to actually close down. I've been talking for too long. So and today's topic is supposed to be, oh my God, it's supposed to be keyboard, and we already talked for 14 minutes after an hour already. So Bart says about key switches. Well, for key switches, you know, Bart, as far as you are concerned, so I think you already know most of it. So you go to my keyboard blog and go to design of computer keyboards, which is on the left panel over here. Then you click key switch. So this page tells you all about key switches. I guess most of you already know this. So Bart is just asking. So Bart, do you have a specific questions or something about key switches? So actually that's about it for me today. So key switches, you guys can read about it. Um, let's see what, and I then yeah. So that's it, I think. So thank you guys for watching. So go to my keyboard blog, buy my stuff, or Patreon me or stuff, buy my tutorials. Okay, that's it for today. And uh, so Bart. Okay, so Bart says, "What's your favorite one?" So my favorite key binding, I mean, my favorite mechanical key switch is probably red. Okay, Cherry MX red. I want it to be light. So actually I can show you. Okay, so actually, but I need to go to the bathroom. So let's do 5 more minutes. I'm gonna talk more about keyboard stuff. Okay, why not? So I'm going to show you my Kinesis. This is using a brown switch actually. So let's see if I can press it. Okay, so this is Kinesis brown switches. Brown. Let's see if you can hear it. No, you cannot. But wait, hold on a second. Okay, that's Kinesis brown. Meanwhile, I have this ultimate hacking keyboard. It's on my website. You can find, and this is red switch. Okay. Let's see if I can do this properly. Okay, here. Okay. So red switch is much more smoother. Now this one is not Cherry MX red. Cherry MX red, but it's this one is actually from China, from a company made by China, which is I think better. Okay. So this is Cherry MX red actually. So I can pull them apart and you can see too. So here is my key switch tester, if you guys don't know, and this is my key puller. So actually, so I have a hard time holding the camera, but you can see, you can buy these switch testers on Amazon, like $10 or $15, and this is the key puller. You pull it off, so that's blue. You pull it off, that's brown. Oops. You pull this off, so that's red. So that's black. Black is like red, strong resistance, but smooth. So this is red, very smooth. Black is smooth but stronger resistance. This is brown. Brown's got a click. stupid camera, stupid Logitech camera. There. Brown is clicky. There's a slight click, and blue is the most clicky. Stupid camera. Blue is the most clicky. It may actually makes a noise. And so my favorite is red because I wanted once you type a lot, I mean really a lot, I think you prefer red. But for most programmers, you guys, you probably don't type that much. So brown and blue is good for you, I think. But I think if you really type a lot, like if you log your keystrokes, then you'll find maybe you'll like red better. Yeah, O-rings. So O-rings can make it quieter. And so actually, that's about it today. I mean, keyboard switch. So here's a picture of the mechanism. You know, Brown's got this click. You see that over there? That is the click. That's what it make. That's what made it click. And Blue's got a click too, but more clicky. Okay, I don't know what I'm doing. So this is a linear switch. Linear switch, I think, is fantastic. I mean, this is an optical switch. Optical switch is fantastic. Okay, so and you can buy optical switch by uh, so there's Roman G switch. Yeah, we should talk about this, but it's kind of late. It's late. I gotta go. I gotta go to the bathroom and stuff. So this guy, Kwiosan 22, very he's a keyboard switch expert. He's a key switch expert. So he has reviewed the Roman G. Okay, so this is Logitech Roman G switch, and there. Okay, here is optical switch. Here is optical switch, and optical switch I think it's great, and you can buy them too. This keyboard is also very cheap, like $40 or something. So I recommend it. So if you just want a plain flat keyboard, I actually recommend this optical switch keyboard. Okay, that's it for today. Thank you guys for watching. Bye, guys. What's going on with this?